From the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you're ready for Monday Night Basketball, because we got it tonight inside FedEx Forum. Mavericks are in town. It's Grizz Mavs, 7 o'clock tip. Both teams are shorthanded. We'll get into the details momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. The next segment, about 20 minutes, Michael Eaves is going to join me. He hosts SportsCenter for ESPN. We'll talk to him about a number of things, including Big Bet Bennett's Tennessee Titans getting the number one pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. It was a nice loss yesterday, Bennett. Michael Eaves will join me. He'll be here in the next segment. When I finish talking to Michael Eaves, take a break, come back. Do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, Penny Hardaway's Tigers improved to 12-3 on Sunday with a 68-64 win over North Texas inside FedEx Forum. That's 10 wins inside the first 2 quadrants. That leads the nation. Nobody else has more than 7. We'll talk Tiger basketball in about 40 minutes. Derrick Rose was celebrated this weekend at the United Center and told that his number one going to be retired by the Bulls next season. Well-deserved honor. I'll tell you more about that a little later on in the show. We got a new Dear Jane to discuss, Bennett. It involves a pair of brothers. Listen to this.
Uh-oh.
It involves a pair of brothers and a young woman on a dating app.
Uh-oh.
You can probably guess where this is headed. We'll talk through it in just a bit. Drake released a song this weekend that took shots at LeBron James. Interesting situation. He's mad at our king. We'll spend a few minutes on that in the third segment. And the Golden Globes were held last night in California. Nikki Glaser hosted. Demi Moore gave a wonderful speech after winning what she described as the first award of her career. I'll get Bennett's thoughts on what we watched last night in Beverly Hills. We'll do it during a segment we call 5 more things you need to know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carry out and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies. It's game 37 of a scheduled 82. It's set for tonight here in downtown Memphis. Grizz Mavericks inside FedEx Forum. Tip scheduled for a little after 7 o'clock. Tickets available, Grizzlies.com. The Grizz opened as 4.5-point favorites despite being without Ja Morant and likely without Desmond Bane. In part because the Mavericks will be without its 2 stars, namely Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Luka is probably out for several more weeks, perhaps even more than a month, with a left calf strain that he suffered on Christmas. Kyrie is listed as out with a, quote, illness. Big Bet Bennett, wasn't a great weekend.
No, it was not.
You know, I hope you personally had a nice weekend.
I hope you had a good weekend too, man.
You know.
Yeah, zubbing down.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Not a great weekend for the Grizzlies. Lost in Sacramento on Friday night. Lost in San Francisco on Saturday night. Are you convinced? Convince me. Are you convinced tonight is the night the Grizzlies snap this 2-game losing streak? We're not going to turn this into 3, are we?
I don't think so. I mean, we're insanely shorthanded. I think them not having Kyrie is obviously massive. That I'd be worried if he was playing tonight.
I don't wish bad things for Kyrie.
No.
But I'm not mad that he's sick.
No, I'm not mad that he's sick
I
either.
hope he's not,
I saw
dying.
I saw the injury report this morning. The Desmond Bane thing obviously is a little just because of all the injuries that they've had. You know, I hope it's nothing. It could just be they're resting him because he's played a ton of games over the past few weeks. But that obviously made me a little nervous seeing that one pop up, the ankle injury. Yeah.
The number is still sitting at 4.5.
Yep.
With Ja out and Desmond listed as doubtful. Again, Luka and Kyrie both already ruled out. The Grizz, after the 2 losses this weekend, now 23-13. Alone in third in the Western Conference standings. Half game back of the Rockets. And then 7.5 games back of the surging and statistically ridiculous Thunder. Quick aside, can we stop here for a second?
Yes.
It might be time to stop being skeptical that the Thunder can actually win this whole thing.
I mean,
people say they're too young, too inexperienced, too free of battle scars, all of the stuff.
Yep.
These dudes are now 30-5. They've won 15 straight. They are 19-1 in games where Isaiah Hartenstein plays. And Chet Holmgren, arguably their second best player, has only played in 10 games all season and not at all during this 15-game winning streak. Like, Oklahoma City is 30-5 overall, including 22-3 without their best player, without their second best player.
Their second best player, yeah.
The Thunder are now plus 350 to win the title in the betting markets, behind only Boston at plus 200. It might be time to stop saying, well, they haven't been through it enough. They haven't got knocked around enough. They haven't taken their battle scars. This could be the franchise that goes from they were good, never really accomplished much in the playoffs, and then boom, it happened.
Yeah, I mean, as far as, in the West, who's going to give them trouble in the postseason? I mean, I would hope it would be the Grizzlies. Denver's obviously got the pedigree and they've been there.
But they ain't been there with this group.
And, Minnesota's just, I don't know there. And then this Dallas team, we'll see if they're healthy and can do it again. Yeah.
In Minnesota, and this is becoming clearer by the day, and I'm not even saying they were wrong, but they chose money over roster.
Yeah. And it appears that they downgraded.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just appears that way. We'll see with this Dallas team that's coming in here tonight.
And just by that, I mean, they did not move Karl Anthony Towns because they thought Julius Randle was a better fit or Karl Anthony Towns was bad or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
They just could not afford to keep him.
Right.
Or they couldn't afford to keep him without it getting very expensive, and they chose not to. And this is the result. They took a team that was on the verge of something, and now they just turned it into a whatever situation.
Yeah, but right now, I mean, again, looking at all the competition around the West, again, Dallas went to the finals last year. We'll see what happens with Luka. He's still on a scooter right now, so we'll see how that situation plays out. But right now, I don't think you can say that. You can sit here and say they're not easily the favorites to win the West. Just how they're playing, and they're just so far ahead of everybody else.
I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah,
they 7-game series in the postseason are different than
they're going to be the 1 seed, barring a huge collapse, right? They're going to easily be the 1 seed.
I mean, they could even collapse and still probably be the 1 seed.
Yeah,
collapse relative to what they've been doing,
right,
and still be the 1 seed. I mean, they got a 7-game lead over Houston,
right?
7.5 games over the Grizzlies. So they're terrific. They looked the part. Big win over the Celtics yesterday.
I'm still skeptical.
I'm actually not.
Okay.
I'm not. If you told me right now,
I buy into the battle-tested thing.
I know that is normally true, but this is the point I tried to make with Vernon a few weeks ago. The Warriors do not have the Michael Jordan scars or the LeBron James scars.
That's fair.
They went from they were a good team under Mark Jackson. They fired him, hired Steve Kerr, discovered Draymond Green, and they went right to the whole thing. That is the way it happened. It wasn't like this long buildup. It was they were irrelevant. They just didn't matter. Then they got kind of good. Then they fired their coach, hired a new coach, discovered Draymond Green, and then they won the title.
Yeah.
They went from here to here just like that. So the idea that you can't do that it runs counter to what we watch with the Warriors. And I'm not saying that this is the same thing or even a similar thing. I'm just saying I am not somebody who says, if you have reasons for why the Thunder aren't going to win the West, I need to hear more than, well, you just can't go from getting bounced early every year to winning the West. That's not the way this works. I don't buy that.
I'm with you. I got you.
I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying they can. They look the part.
Yeah.
Back to the Grizzlies.
Yep.
23-13. And I guess this is the big story. This is the one everybody's talking about.
Okay.
In the betting markets, among the favorites to trade for Jimmy Butler. How do you feel about that?
Okay. Obviously, when we said in here on Friday, I said that I'd be skeptical. I'd be a little nervous about doing that. As we gone through the weekend and this thing appeared to become more realistic, I tend to. You got to be in one of two camps. Okay. Are you ready to push all the chips on the table and go for it? We ready this year to win the championship? Then I think that's probably a move that would really benefit the Grizzlies to do that. If you're if you're still in that same window of, man, they've got this huge window of, 1 to 5 years where they can get this done with that core and with the pieces that they have surrounding them, the depth of this roster, then I think you don't do it, right? If you're in that camp. But if it's about going all in on this season, I think it makes sense.
I think it's more complicated than that. Mm-hmm. I think more things need to be considered. I do think the people speaking in absolutes here should probably meet in the middle a little bit, because every opinion you can imagine about whether the Grizzlies should try to trade for Jimmy Butler is out there.
Yeah.
Every opinion.
And I want to be clear, I'm a big Jimmy Butler fan. Like I told you that on Friday. I don't really like how this Miami thing's playing out. It made me kind of be like, this is uncomfortable. But I'm a fan, as are a lot of people.
Sure, and for obvious reasons that are well documented.
Yeah.
I mean, for as bad as this has gotten in Miami, he did take them to 2 NBA finals.
That's right.
All right? And neither time they were supposed to get there. Mm-hmm. That guy does have a history of flipping a switch in the postseason.
Yes.
And when you get into an important game, you need to win. That guy's a winner. He can turn losses into wins. Mm-hmm. He can turn underdogs into favorites. The problem is you got to deal with, you don't just get that with Jimmy Butler. That's one part of him. That's the best part. Mm-hmm. You got to take all of it. You got to take the whole deal. And that's a little more complicated. Like I said, every opinion you want's out there. I've read them all. If you want to try to put them in 3 categories, these would be the 3 categories that you can see people placing their opinions in. One is, if you can get Jimmy Butler, you should go get Jimmy Butler. Mm-hmm. Like, this is one of the 10 to 15 best players in the world when he is engaged and when the games matter. And eventually, all that matters are the games in the postseason. Like, this is all. Nobody cares if you finish 2nd, 4th, 6th in the West. Like, it just comes down to, or even 1st in the West. Like, it really doesn't matter. I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but, like, people don't care. They just care, like, playoffs, now we got a bracket. How far do we go? That's all anybody cares about. This guy can give you a better chance to go further in that bracket. Simple as that. If you can make this work, you should make it work. That's one. I've seen other people say, yeah, you should engage and be interested and take the phone calls and discuss it. But the price has got to be right. And you got to ask all of the right questions. Is he opting in or out of this player option? Because he's making $48 million right now. He's got a player option for $52 next year.
Okay.
Is he going to opt in or out of that? What do you even want him to do? Do you want him to opt in or out of that? All right, if he opts out, what is he looking for in his next deal? Are we interested in doing a 3-year Jimmy Butler deal? He's already 35 years old. You want to have Jimmy Butler on your roster when he's 38? And oh, by the way, what we've learned, whether it's in Minneapolis or Miami or basically anywhere else he's ever been, this is the way it always ends. It can get great, but it ends this way. Do you really want to take this young core that you have drafted and developed and then tie it to a guy who may take it to a great place at some point, but eventually it's going to get ugly because it always does? You got to figure out all that. Mm-hmm. I think you got to talk to John Morant, Jaren Jackson, and Desmond Bane about it. I think you need to talk to Taylor Jenkins about it. I think you need to obviously know what the price is. You know, is it a Marcus Smart, Luke Kennard, Brandon Clark, John Konchar package? Because that's when I go, okay, I might be ready to do that. Mm-hmm. But do they want you to throw Gigi Jackson in? Do they want a first-round pick? Do they want multiple first-round picks? Like, I need to know what the price is. But I'm open-minded about it. Mm-hmm. And then there's the third group, which is just like, do not do it no matter what. Matt Moore, who we both like and respect, he wrote a column. He said, you should not trade for Jimmy Butler. Not the Grizzlies, not anybody. Nobody should trade for Jimmy Butler. Why do you want to get into business with a 35-year-old who blows up everything eventually? It's one thing if it's a 25-year-old. You know, you're getting 25-year-old. But this is aging Jimmy, but still great in spots. But if you're going to be in a long-term deal with Jimmy Butler, it's going to be in the worst years of his career, probably. And it'll get volatile at some point. Mm-hmm. Do you want to be involved in that? Matt Moore says, no, you shouldn't. I'm a little more open-minded than that. I would take the extremes that say you got to do it no matter what, and the extreme you can't do it no matter what. And I'd say both of you guys need to come over here and let's talk. Because I do think there's a scenario where you can pull the trigger on it. But and I'm not certain. I wouldn't rather have him as a rental. If my options were have him as a rental or have him for this year plus 3 more at, say, $30 million a year. Let's say he did 3 years, $95 million, 3 years, $100 million. Mm-hmm. Do you want him on that contract? Knowing that eventually he's just going to get mad.
Right.
That's what he does everywhere else. Or would you rather have him on a rental? Hey, we'll give you the Marcus Smart, Luke Kennard, John Conchar, Brandon Clark package, and we'll just take him here. He's indicated to us he's going to opt out of his contract. Mm-hmm. We'll deal with that later. But, like, if the worst thing that happens is Jimmy Butler just walks at the end of this year, but we get to try this, and theoretically he's on his best behavior here and trying to rehabilitate his image, and so he can get this next big contract, well, then maybe that's good enough.
Yeah, and keep in mind, you got to pay Jaren a lot of money.
Yeah, like
that's coming up too.
It's a very complicated thing to pull off. I do think it's worth discussing. I hope that it's being discussed.
It is. It does feel
ultimately.
Really
Ultimately, I'll be surprised if it happens.
I think I will too.
But it's worth discussing.
It does feel really similar, and I've seen a lot of people say this, to the Kawhi Leonard situation in Toronto. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, that was a rental.
Toronto.
Was it worth it? I mean, again, like I don't know if he's some beloved figure in Toronto.
No, but they got a banner.
But they got a banner.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's what we want. Yeah.
We wouldn't even argue if Jimmy Butler helped the Grizzlies get to the NBA Finals, we would say it was worth doing at the right price. At the right price, and he's capable of doing that. You know.
Yeah.
So it's worth exploring. It's worth discussing. I'll be surprised if it happens.
Yeah, if I woke up tomorrow morning and Jimmy Butler was a Memphis Grizzly, I would be ecstatic.
Well,
I would be very. I could talk myself into it easily.
I would need to know what had to happen to make it happen before I could tell you whether I'd be ecstatic or not. But I would quickly talk myself into it. Like, what's the point of being mad about it?
Because it is the all-in move. I mean, if it did happen, they're going for it this year. Like,
if it did happen,
I know they're going for it this year anyways, but
if it did happen, there is a scenario where you could turn on, get up tomorrow morning, and whoever talks on Get Up would be going, and now I think it's the Celtics and the Thunder and the Grizzlies. Those are the 3 favorites to win the 2025 NBA title. I think you would get people saying stuff like that.
I agree.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'll ask Michael Eaves what he thinks about it next.
Grizz Nation, it's time to send Ja, Jaren, and Dez to the 2025 All-Star Game.
Oh! What did we just see, partner?
Take 3! Take 3! Bane for 3. Bingo!
This man Bane heating it up.
Blocked by Jaren!
Most versatile power forward in the game today.
Head to NBA.com/vote, the NBA app, or simply use the QR code on the screen to send your Grizzlies to the All-Star Game today.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans, and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering, to those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
I'm not going to let you get away with this.
Yeah, that's fine. I deserve it.
You walked in here on Friday afternoon and said
the smoke.
Every day for the last 2 years, you have said, I am John Buckeye.
I said, once the playoff matchups were made, you asked what I thought. I said Ohio State's going to beat them by double digits. I said Ohio State's. I walked it all back and went John Vol. I joined General Nealon's Navy.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
When's the last time you guys played a little one-on-one? It was, I don't even know, like maybe last summer, and there's some footage out there that doesn't want to be released. Like, he claims he took it easy on me, but I always beat him.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Somebody who really has done what they were supposed to do, or maybe wasn't expected to do, is Jalen Wells, the Western Conference Rookie of the Month.
What you're seeing right now is him showing that, hey, no matter where I was going to go in the draft, I was going to be ready.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz Beat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizz Nation, it's time to send Ja, Jaren, and Dez to the 2025 All-Star Game.
Oh! What did we just see, partner?
Take three. Bain for three. Bingo! Desmond Bain heating it up. Blocked by Jaren.
Most versatile power forward in the game today.
Head to NBA.com/vote, the NBA app, or simply use the QR code on the screen to send your Grizzlies to the All-Star Game today.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Built Ford Tough Studio, and on Mondays in the second segment, I'm joined by Michael Eaves. You see him on ESPN. He's hosting Sports Center. He joins me right now. And, buddy, I was thinking about you on Saturday. How much fun it must be to watch your Wildcats score 106 points, make 14 three-pointers, and then turn on the TV and watch John Calipari. I know you're not wishing bad things for him, but there he was again, just talking about all the things he wished he'd have done differently in a basketball game before getting blown out by Tennessee. That's a good day for Kentucky fans like you.
Oh, well, the average Kentucky fan was eating that up.
Right.
But to your point, I don't really care about that kind of stuff, quite honestly, Gary. I mean, look, John's trying to start something new in a different spot, and it's going to take some work. But for Kentucky fans, yeah, it sounded like, if you're old enough to remember, broken record. Some of the things he was saying about that Tennessee loss are some of the same things he was saying the last couple of years at Kentucky. And that's what really frustrated Kentucky fans after a while. It's like, all right, you keep saying the same things, then why don't you fix them or improve them or do something different, right? And then, yeah, as you mentioned, starting off with Mark Pope, like it is refreshing. There's no question about that. The way this team plays without any true, lottery picks on that roster. I think Kobe Bryant is going to be a really good NBA player because he can shoot the ball so well, but there's no Cooper Flag on that team. You know what I mean? There's no standout player on that team in that regard. But the way they play and the poise that they show and have an exciting brand of basketball back in Rupp Arena, yeah, man, it's refreshing for Kentucky fans. I totally get that part of it.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. He's doing this, running the modern offense and getting the shots he wants. He's just doing it with good college basketball players. Eventually at Kentucky, you're going to have NBA players. It's going to be a roster of NBA players, and that's when it's going to be really fascinating. I don't know how Jay Wright at Villanova was modern basketball with NBA players, but there ain't been a lot of that, and Kentucky's going to get back to that real quick.
Exactly. And here's the thing. You mentioned Kentucky has the cachet and they have the resources that they're going to be able to get those top-tier players again. And the only reason they don't have them this year is because the guy that sent a bunch of players to the NBA left, and you had no idea who was coming in for a while. And then all of a sudden, Mark Pope was there. He had nobody on the roster, right? So he had to build with what he had. He didn't really have a chance to go out there and recruit a player to Kentucky. That's different than recruiting a player to BYU. Now he has an entire year to do that. And I believe in modern college basketball, Gary, if you're going to contend for national championships every single year, you need that blend of quality, long-term college basketball players. Guys going to be there at least 3 years, if not 4. And then, I think you need a lottery pick or two.
Yeah.
Mark Few's done that in Gonzaga a couple years. And Danny Hurley's definitely done that with UConn the last couple of years. You need that ideal blend of superstar players and guys that have been there for a while and just know how to play quality basketball.
That's the combination. Give me a bunch of 22-year-olds and then the one-and-done top 10 pick.
Yeah.
That's 2008 Memphis with Derrick Rose. It's UConn last year with Stephon Castle. That's the combination that works in this era of basketball. Get great college players, but you need the one-and-done pro probably somewhere on your roster.
100%. Sometimes you need the best player on the floor.
There you go.
And oftentimes that's a one-and-done player. That's
right.
the difference.
Here in Memphis, Jimmy Butler has become a big topic of conversation because in the betting markets, the Grizzlies became among the favorites. At one point, the actual favorite, but now just among the favorites to possibly trade for Jimmy Butler. To be clear, I don't even know what that means. It's not like this is coming from Shams or Windhorst or any reputable NBA reporter. It's just speculation. But just broadly speaking, what do you make of the mess that Jimmy Butler has caused in Miami? And if you were another NBA franchise trying to chase a title, would you be interested in bringing him in?
Well, let me first say this. I don't think Jimmy caused the entire mess.
Okay.
Because what has really bothered him is that Miami has not continued to upgrade its roster the way other teams in the Eastern Conference have or the NBA as a whole have done over the last couple of years. And Jimmy's a competitor. And we've seen that time and time again, that when it comes down to making plays in some of the biggest games, Jimmy Butler is a guy you want on your team. But that Miami roster right now is not a team that's going to compete for a championship. Everyone knows that. And he's frustrated that Pat Riley and the front office haven't done more to do that. So thus, he's in his feelings about it. And he is an emo type person. So that is a fair criticism. And his emotions always eventually come out public. Same way it happened in Minnesota, same way it happened in Philadelphia, Miami, and even Chicago before then. That happens. But when he's a motivated player and he feels as if he's got a squad around him that can compete, that's the dude you want on your team. He led I wouldn't say a bad Miami team, but I'm not sure how many guys in the league could have led that team to the NBA Finals either Jimmy Butler did, okay? And he did that. So he's that good of a player. Now, if he goes to Memphis, depending on what they would have to give up to get him, all of this is hypothetical.
Right.
Man, the Grizzlies would love to have Jimmy Butler on their squad. You need a guy who's been there in the war, in the trenches, and made plays when everyone in the building knew he had to. And you put him aside alongside John Morant. Man, that's a tough twosome for any team to deal with in the playoffs.
To your point about Jimmy taking that Heat team to the finals a few years ago, if I remember correctly, because I think it was a storyline, they were starting 2 undrafted players with Jimmy Butler. Yeah. And
yes.
like one of them was Gabe Vincent, I guess. And so they're starting 2 undrafted guys with Jimmy Butler, and they're just going to the NBA Finals. For all of the wackiness that is now, he did take them to 2 NBA Finals, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. And the numbers go back and look at those games that he played and the numbers he put up. Like, we love to use that meme of him bent over on the side, like exhausted, because look at what he was doing, the number of minutes he was playing and the numbers he was putting up in those minutes. He is that dude, man. He always has been, and he's proven it time and time again. I think people get caught up in some of the mess around him, but what he said in Minnesota was absolutely right. Mm-hmm. He was not wrong in the criticisms he had of the front office in Minnesota. He was right about Philadelphia, and I think, quite honestly, he's right about Miami. You just got to put him in the best position for him to succeed, and your organization will succeed as well.
In most places, you can do what he's done and get what you want. This seems possibly different because rather than try to work it out, they just said you're suspended for 7 games and take like $2.5 million from him. Like they're clear, like we're not playing with you anymore. All right, we're done here. Yeah. How do you think this gets resolved? Did he maybe pick a fight with the wrong franchise this time?
Well, let me say this: the hardest team to bully would be one led by Pat Riley.
There you go.
Okay, even in the 70s, Pat Riley don't play, right? And so this is indicative of that. He's like, all right, look. You have proven to everyone that you don't want to be here, and it's probably not best for you to be here. So we're going to try to move you. But we ain't going to pay you while this is happening, bruh. So you're going to sit on the sidelines for 7 games, give us about a week and a half or so, and we're going to try to find a team to move you to. But we ain't paying you while we're waiting to do this, right? So that's Pat Riley somewhat acquiescing, but not getting played in the process, right? But then, did you see how the Heat played their very first game after that suspension? They got blown out by the Jazz.
Right.
So, again, that tells you a little bit more about that current roster and everything going on with the organization. That in the wake of that team got trounced by the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, it's a tough situation now because on one hand, if you're Pat Riley, you don't want to give in to this guy and let him get what he wants and let him dictate terms. On the other hand, every day that this sits like this is a day that's bad for your organization, and I don't know how you balance those things.
I mean, it has to be addition by subtraction sometimes, right? And I'll say this, look, Pat is very prideful. There's no question about that. And his record in the NBA gives him the right to be that. And for him to sit and say, how can Jimmy Butler question what I'm doing? I'm Pat freaking Riley, right? I get that aspect of it. But at the same time, Jerry West said this to me as well. Sometimes you think you're right until you realize you're wrong, right? And I wonder if in this situation, what Jimmy Butler has said has given some time of reflection for Pat Riley to sit back and actually look at his roster. It's like, man, maybe he's right. And maybe if we go and move Jimmy Butler and get these dudes back, maybe this draft pick, it's actually better for us going forward. And then it becomes a plus for both sides, right? You just don't want a negative to linger any more than it has to, especially if you're the organization, because let's be real, these teams ain't loyal to these players, right? So if they can get rid of Jimmy Butler and then their situation improves, they will do it tomorrow if they find the right deal.
Elsewhere in the NBA, there's a theory among basketball people that, whether it was Michael Jordan or LeBron James, you just don't start winning championships until you get smacked around a little bit. You got to get bounced in the first round of playoffs. You got to lose in the Eastern Conference Finals or the Western Conference Finals. But there's a process to this. You got to have battle scars before you hold the trophy. Is Oklahoma City about to test that?
Well, I mean, in some regards, I think they've been hit with reality a couple of times over the last couple of years, especially last year, I thought. Yeah. But this team, it is different, Gary. Like, you keep trying to find a flaw. Like, SGA is SGA, right? There's no question about that. One of the top 5 players in the league right now, easily. You probably make a strong case he's an MVP favorite right now, in my eyes. But then you keep trying to find some other reasons why they aren't good, why their record the last 2 years is some type of a fluke. But then they go out and beat your best team. They go out and handle the Celtics after being down 10 at the half, right? And they won 15 in a row. The fluke teams don't win 15 in a row. I'm sorry. That just doesn't happen in this level of basketball. I am excited. I wish it was April right now, quite honestly, because I really want to see some of these teams go at it in 7-game series. But I keep looking for a reason not to believe in them, and I can't find one, because I'm always going to believe in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Right now, at the age of 21, Victor Wembanyama does have the Spurs in postseason, in position to make the postseason. We should have an NBA playoffs with Wemby. They're starting now to flex him onto ESPN, onto TNT. They're starting to do it with the Grizzlies a little bit as well. Like, this is happening. He's here, and like what we've been waiting on, it's right in front of us, isn't it?
Yes, and I'll say this before I talk about how great Wemby is. I think you have to give a lot of credit to Chris Paul and what he always brings to a roster that is trying to get to the next level, right? Dude's been in the league forever now. He's not the same player he was 5 years ago, but he still makes a difference, especially in practices and on the team planes and locker room stuff like that. And he is an addition to that roster and organization that has enabled Wemby to flourish in his second year. Now, as it relates to Wemby specifically, the skill set has been there. Just the whole thing has been why we've just been, bewildered by this kid for the last 3 or 4 years. It's legit, man. He is that dude. He has all the skills of a guy that should not be that tall and that long, but he also has the basketball IQ and the wherewithal to be able to just navigate things quickly and learn. And what he did on Christmas, what he did against Joker the other day, back-to-back games, second game not as good, but the first game especially, he's that dude, man. And the more the public gets to see him, especially on a regular basis, right? I think more people understand just how special of a talent he is. We keep saying he's a generational talent, and he's done nothing to disprove that, especially this year.
We've done this a few times, and I guess Zion would be the latest generational talent that hasn't met expectations, but like LeBron did, and now it looks like Wemby is, and who knows how long he's going to be able to do this, but we've never seen anything close to this. It's just outrageous. Just the highlights are constantly things you've never seen anybody that size ever do.
I mean, he's literally a basketball unicorn.
Yeah,
literally. Now there have been guys as tall as him, or not as tall as him, but tall. Will Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like, you go through the list of guys who are tremendous players, but none of those guys I mentioned, Hall of Famers, had the overall skill set that Wemby has, right? And that's the difference. Like, he's not supposed to be able to do what he's doing, and sometimes, Gary, he makes it look easy. right? Like you forget sometimes that he's 7'7" or whatever the hell he is by the moves he makes, because that shouldn't happen. So he's out there playing like he's 6'7" when he's a foot taller than that. It's just insane in so many regards, but it's fun to watch. And if you haven't watched him, if you don't have NBA League Pass or whatever, if you see him ever on national television scheduled, make a point to go watch this kid play and watch the whole game. Watch how he moves around the court. It's not just when he scores, but the whole thing he does, recovering, blocking shots, getting triple doubles. Like he's a stat sheet waiting to happen, dude.
Last thing before I let you go, with another loss yesterday, the Tennessee Titans secured the number 1 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Do you have an opinion on what they should do with it?
Yeah, Shedeur Sanders.
Good.
Not a question. It's not even, I don't think, if there's a question in that organization, and if they continue to do what so many teams do, Gary, which is find ways not to draft a certain player, then everyone in that front office should be fired.
Yeah.
It's Shedeur Sanders. That's it. And if you can't get it, if you want to trade or do something stupid, then Travis Hunter. That's it. Those are your two choices.
All right. I'll get Bennett's thoughts on that. He's got his Titans gear on over here. Michael Eaves, you can follow him on X. That's at Michael Eaves. On X, at Michael Eaves. Obviously, watch him on SportsCenter, ESPN. You're the best, buddy. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for your time.
All right, man.
Bye-bye. Michael Eaves, Happy New Year to you. That's Michael Eaves, ESPN. You heard him, Bennett. Shedeur Sanders. That's your quarterback of the future. You down?
I'm in. Yeah. I've been, dude, first off, this whole thing, this weekend was awesome.
Tell me what it was like for you.
It was so good because, okay, up until last week, it didn't really look like this was a real possibility, and then some things started breaking your way, and then you came into this weekend knowing that the Patriots had to beat the Bills, and that
why did they do that?
Well, the Bills rested everybody.
I know, but still, I would just figure out a way not to do that.
Right. So
I'd rest everybody too.
The reason I was a little optimistic about that game is because they've already got their quarterback. So, there was no reason for them to necessarily go out there and tank that game. I mean, you want them, but they have a guy that they think is going to be their quarterback in Drake May. They even they benched him pretty quickly into that game, I guess, to avoid him, getting injured or anything like that. So they know who their guy is. So I don't think it necessarily meant that much for them to lose that game. The Titans, I mean, listen, I got to give them credit where it's due. That was an absolute masterclass of losing a game yesterday. They were competitive a little bit, but every time they got close to the red zone, they'd just run the ball 3 times and kick a field goal. I mean, it was beautiful, dude. It was really beautiful. I could tell they were trying to lose that game.
Do you find yourself just as fired up while trying to lose as you would be while trying to win?
When you're in that situation where you're literally going for the number 1 overall pick in the draft and you control your own destiny, I
remember going through this with the Grizzlies. I think it was the Jaren draft, right? Maybe it was the Jaren draft. But we were going to go through a rebuild. It felt like we actually didn't really have to go through a long rebuild.
Right.
Because Ja was so good so quickly. But the thought was we're going through a rebuild, and there reached a point in a season where it was like, it's better to lose than win.
Yeah.
It just is. And I can remember, I wasn't going to get emotionally invested in it every night, living and dying with it. But I can remember watching games and going, all right, miss a shot.
Yeah. And this is so much easier, obviously, because the NBA, you got the lottery system. NFL, it's like, you lose this game, you're getting the pick. It's yours. So, again, they did an amazing job yesterday of doing that. And I don't know.
But was it an amazing, because, okay, you had fun, and there was some interesting things here, and you correct me if I'm wrong, because you're in this way more than I am.
Go ahead.
It felt like, where's all the big stuff? It's the last Sunday of the NFL regular season, and it felt like CBS was cutting away from games. They were like, hey, we're going to take you out of Kansas City because it's just not it felt like, am I wrong?
Oh, by the way, that one, so obviously for the Bengals to be able to get in the playoffs, the Broncos and the Dolphins both had to lose yesterday.
That was the other problem. It's like Saturday night, it's like, okay, prime time, Bengals got to win, but it's like, even if they win, they ain't getting there.
Right.
Even Joe Burrow afterward, they were like, how do you feel? He's like, not great.
Well, speaking of the Titans doing the Chiefs, that was a masterclass in making sure Joe Burrow doesn't make the playoffs. That's what they were doing yesterday.
Yes.
They were like, we are resting everybody. We're not even going to try to compete in this game because we don't want Joe Burrow in the playoffs. Because he's Chiefs kryptonite.
Well, I mean, I think this is true. I don't think you would argue with this. The Chiefs were in a situation, by losing, they could maybe eliminate their biggest threat other than Buffalo.
Yeah, who had won 5 in a row. They knew exactly what they were doing there. Okay, back to the Titans. So
no, I mean, do I have it wrong? It felt like yesterday I was like, all right, the NFL's on last Sunday, and it's like, what even matters? And not much.
I mean, there wasn't a lot that mattered. You had the NFC South up for grabs, which was kind of fun with the Buccaneers and the Falcons both in tight games. So you had that, but that afternoon slate where there was things at stake, the stakes went away pretty quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So last night's game, the Lions, they locked up that division and are going to have home field advantage, which that's kind of fun in Detroit throughout the playoffs. So that's kind of cool. But as far as the Titans go, like back to what he said about Shedeur, I'm not ready to write off Cam. Like, I think that I want to see like some stuff play out a little bit before I'm just like, it's Shedeur. He's better. He's the guy. And they'll have to do their research too. But you'll find out within the next couple months, I think pretty quickly who the guy is in this draft. Like, that stuff always works itself out.
Most people do agree with Michael Eaves that it is Shedeur Sanders. And the thing that I think moves me in that direction, it's not just watching with my own eyes. I mean, I have eyes, and I've seen him play, and he can obviously make all the throws. It's other quarterbacks who are now analysts talking about very specific things that he does brilliantly.
Yep.
Like footwork, stepping. I've seen former NFL quarterbacks, and a lot of these guys are conditioned to just hate on the young guys anyway.
Sure.
Particularly Deion Sanders' son. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if a retired former NFL quarterback just doesn't like Shedeur Sanders just because he doesn't like the whole Deion. And even though, this is my point, even those people are like, oh no, he's good.
Yeah. Did you see his comment yesterday? So there was a lot of Titans fans there with bags over their heads that had Shedeur on the bags, and it was ESPN or someone posted it, and Shedeur commented "legendary" underneath it. So maybe he knows something.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
We'll see if it works, but it'd be fun.
And that's the thing, dude. I'm just so beaten down by this franchise at this point. I'm trying to just have fun again.
Yeah.
Like, I want the bright lights. Like, that's must-see TV. I mean, dude, we'll see like how his NFL career turns out. He's immediately must-see TV in the NFL. Like, people are going to tune in to watch him play. They just are.
Yeah, he's a star.
Yeah,
he's a real star.
I want that, man. I want ain't nobody outside of people in this state trying to watch the Titans. So
it sounds like you might be getting it. I
hope so.
It sounds like you might be getting it. You remember how like when the Grizzlies moved up to 2 in the Ja draft, and it was like we knew the next day Ja Morant's coming to Memphis.
Yes.
I think we knew the next day.
Yes.
There was reporting. It was like the Grizzlies are leaning toward selecting Ja Morant after the Pelicans select Zion Williamson. Like this feels like that. Now, this is because there's the one pick instead of the. But hey, we find out the Grizzlies are picking second today. Tomorrow, we're going to find out it's Ja Morant. This feels like the same thing.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and get you a Shedeur Sanders jersey if you want to. Just got to pick the number.
Okay. I will buy a jersey. Do not get it twisted. I will have that jersey ASAP. Yeah.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Thanks, man. That was cool yesterday. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Shedeur Sanders in Nashville. I hope he meets Gia Duddy, Will Levis's ex. She still lives there, I think.
I think she still lives there, yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing Shedeur Sanders, Gia Duddy power couple. I wouldn't mind that one bit.
Yeah, we'll see what she's up to.
I know what she's up to. I can tell you everything she's up to.
You can?
I know everything she does.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know she was still hanging around Nashville.
Oh, yeah, man.
People fall in love with that city, man.
She puts on her makeup, She loves to show you putting on her makeup. Man, she can really do it, too,
Yeah.
Who do you think started that? Who do you think decided the world needs to see me put on my makeup today? Who do you think decided that was a thing?
Probably one of the Kardashian Jenners, yeah.
Probably
one of the Kardashians.
Like Kylie.
Yeah.
Probably Kylie.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. Like, normal people just decide that, just like, they're just sitting around.
Yeah.
And they're just like, you know what? I'm going to put on my makeup for the world today. I'm going live with my makeup.
Yeah.
I never even thought about anything like that. And I actually get makeup done. I've never thought about going live while I'm getting my makeup done. But I watch videos all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't watch videos all the time, but I see them.
You got to be careful around those makeup artists.
That's what I read.
Just be careful what you tell them.
Yeah, that's what I read. Now, me and Jess were talking about this earlier. Like, we have makeup artists just like this. Like, we have these same women.
Right.
I can't imagine saying this.
You good? Everything good? Yeah.
I can't imagine saying this to these women. Like, it is crazy. And, like, I'm not, like, I'll get out of line sometimes.
Yeah.
But that is insane to me.
Yeah. What a deal.
How do you get to a point where you're talking like that to the makeup artist?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm telling you, I work with makeup artists for 10 years now.
Yeah.
That is incomprehensible.
They just know that. Yeah. No, that's tough. That's tough.
And like I was talking to Jessica, like, and obviously we're talking about the Joy Taylor, Skip Bayless, makeup artist, Fox Sports scandal. That lawsuit has been it's bad.
It's wild. Yeah.
It's not.
It
great.
is wild. Yeah.
People's careers are going to be ruined over this.
I think maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. But just wildly inappropriate stuff for the makeup artist. I'm telling you this. I'm not saying that because I'm not everywhere, and I don't know everything. But with my own eyes, I have never really seen anything that you would consider out of line at CBS. I'm telling the truth. Like,
good
people mistreating people or being sexually weird with, like, no, I just have not seen that.
Mm-hmm.
We at CBS, we treat our makeup artists with incredible respect.
Good. That's good to know. I was wondering.
With an incredible amount of respect.
Good.
Those are our friends.
I'm glad to hear that.
We eat dinner with them every night. I can't imagine. Like, I know what it's like in that building. Like, these people, you're around them every day.
Dude, I can't imagine. I saw, some of them are on TV today. Like, that's wild. What's it like in that building today, man?
Whew.
What's it like in that building today?
And how awesome are you if you didn't show up at, like, 42-page lawsuit about your workplace? Like, if you're Colin Cowherd, you're like, all right.
Thank God, yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe Colin
Not
Cowherd,
even thank God, just
maybe Colin Cowherd's just a good dude who doesn't act crazy.
That's right.
And, like Nick Wright, maybe just a good dude who doesn't act crazy.
Yeah.
But there's some wild stuff going on
over
there.
There's some wild stuff, yeah, wild stuff.
Man, anyway, I'm fine. I don't have those problems.
Good.
Yeah, you want me to show you what I do when I get sit in the makeup chair?
Uh-huh. It's the proper way to sit in the makeup chair.
Please apply my makeup for television and tell me when you're done.
There you go.
No, you know what I do when I'm in the makeup chair? I say, hey Kim, hey Romy, hey whomever I'm working, hey Jules, how you doing? How's the kids? How's your husband?
Nice.
Never I got $1.5 million for you if you'll come home back to my hotel. Never done that. Never done that one. All right? But I'm not here to judge.
No.
It's none of my business.
No, it's none of my business.
It's none of my business.
Well, it's the business is
I mean,
out
it's
there,
everybody's
bro.
business, I guess.
The business is out there,
It's everybody's
bro.
business now, but I feel like it's not my place to judge,
I got
right?
you. Okay.
It's not. I'm just going to, how about this? I just stay in my own lane.
Okay.
I'm just going to keep to myself.
All right, good.
All right?
Me too.
It's none of my business. I hope it works out for everybody.
I do too.
I hope it works out. Yeah. For the people it needs to work out for. And for everybody else, I guess I don't care that much.
Mm-hmm.
But it's none of my business. Who am I to judge,
Mm-hmm.
Who are we, Bennett?
No, we're no one, yeah.
Penny Hardaway's Tigers got their 10th victory inside the first two quadrants yesterday. That's 3 more than anybody else in the country. I'll tell you where I got them in the top 25 and 1. We'll do that next.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans, and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing at FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
I'm not going to let you get away with this.
Yeah, that's fine. I deserve it.
You walked in here on Friday afternoon and said
the smoke.
Every day for the last 2 years, you have said, I am John Buckeye.
I said once the playoff matchups were made, You asked what I thought. I said Ohio State's going to beat them by double digits.
To the play, right?
I said Ohio State's. I
then
walked it all back and went John Vol. I joined General Nealon's Navy.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
I want to throw a party just so I can be in control of the aux cord, just so I can force everybody to listen to the Wicked soundtrack. Both of these actresses in Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, I thought it showed how they have experience performing live and on screen, both of them.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Somebody who really has done what they were supposed to do, or maybe wasn't expected to do, is Jalen Wells, the Western Conference Rookie of the Month.
What you're seeing right now is him showing that, hey, no matter where I was going to go in the draft, I was going to be ready.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizz Nation, it's time to send Ja, Jaren, and Dez to the 2025 All-Star Game.
Oh! What did we just see, partner? Take three! Take three! Bane for three. Bingo!
Desmond Bane heating it up.
Blocked by Jaren!
Most versatile power forward in the game today.
Head to NBA.com/vote, the NBA app, or simply use the QR code on the screen to send your Grizzlies to the All-Star Game today.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans, and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Penny Hardaway's Tigers improved to 12-3 on the season, 2-0 in the AAC yesterday with a 68-64 victory over North Texas inside FedEx Forum. I know it was a little closer than people maybe expected, but the point spread was only 7.5 at tip-off, and some of that is because North Texas, while not good, don't let anybody tell you they're good.
Yeah, I got you.
All right? Not good, but they play extremely slow. So, top 40 defensive team that plays at a tempo that ranks 357th in the country. So, it was always probably going to be a low possession game, fewer points. That's the best explanation for 68-64. A little closer than you would have expected, perhaps. A little closer than you would have liked, but got the win. And now, because the numbers are constantly updating, they have 10 wins inside the first 2 quadrants. Nobody else has more than 7. Now, this is not hard to figure out why. They schedule this way intentionally because they're not going to have opportunities inside the first 2 quadrants too often going forward. Whereas the Auburns and the Tennessees and the Michigan States, and they all will. So Memphis will not always have the most wins inside of the first 2 quadrants because they will not have as many opportunities as literally any SEC school. But right now, Memphis does have 3 more wins inside the first 2 quadrants than anybody else in the country, including Tennessee, Auburn, and everybody else you have ranked in any poll anywhere. PJ Haggerty was, again, terrific yesterday. He has clearly developed into Memphis's I think most important player. He finished with 27 points, 5 rebounds. We sort of just take it for granted now. Like, because he'll go out and get 27.
Right.
He'll go out and get 20. Like, that's not normal for college basketball players to go out and get 27.
Yep.
It's a big number. And he goes out and gets big numbers often. He had the incredible shot that went viral.
That was insane.
He's just a really... Like,
to hit that shot in that moment, I was like, jeez.
He's a uniquely gifted shot maker.
Yeah.
He's a really good college basketball player. And he is the reason I now have Memphis up to 17 in the top 25 and 1 right now. Haggerty did make some headlines with his post-game comments talking about how the American is better than people realize. And with all due respect, like, if I were him, I would probably say something similar. You know, you want to prop up your league. And,
of course.
You know, you are, on some level, campaigning for yourself.
That's right.
So when you only beat North Texas by 4 and people are asking you why, I think it's completely reasonable to say, well, you know, they're better than you realize.
Of
and
course.
the league's better than it realized. And here's the truth. Like, I just told you I'd probably say the same thing, but it's not true.
Yeah.
The league is not good.
No, I don't expect them to say anything differently.
No, I'm not mad at him. I'm not
right.
I'm not like, what a liar. You know, it's just like, it's what you say.
Yeah.
It's what you say because what else are you going to say? But the numbers don't support anything that he's saying. Right now, Memphis is 31st at KenPom. 31st at KenPom. Nobody else in the American is in the top 65. And only one other school in the American is even in the top 100.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the team that you beat yesterday, North Texas, which is sitting at 70 right now. The league ranks 10th behind Conference USA. Do you realize that?
That's insane.
Most of Conference USA's good programs at one point left for the AAC.
That's true.
And now
That's
Conference
very
USA
true.
is better than the
Wow.
AAC, at least according to KenPom.
Yikes.
Yikes, for real.
Yeah.
The league is awful. And I don't take any joy out of saying it all the time. But when people are going to act like it's not, I'm compelled to point out that they're wrong. It's just not based in reality. It is an awful league. Arguably the worst league Memphis basketball has ever been in. You ready? Ever.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. This might be the worst.
Yeah, I was glad. I actually was glad the way that it played out yesterday. I mean, I do think that team that they played. I'm with you. I'm not sure like how good. I think they're a competitive team. I mean, they clearly like had a lot of size. They looked bigger than Memphis at a lot of times. And I was glad just because I don't think they're not gonna get tested that often. And so I was just glad to see them be in a tight game and figure out a way to win because again. How many times are you going to get tested in league play this season?
Almost never. I mean,
right.
Almost. They're favored in every game going forward.
Right.
Significant favorites in most of them.
Right. And I don't want to just, again, I want them to win all their league games, but I don't want it to get to a point where it's just they're beating the crap out of everybody and they're not getting tested before the NCAA tournament.
I don't think it matters as much as people think.
Yeah, okay.
These are things people say all the time. Like, if you play in the Big 10 or the Big 12, you're tested.
Yep.
Was Kentucky tested last year? Played in the SEC? Then went out and lost to Oakland.
That's true.
Gonzaga plays in the West Coast Conference. Gonzaga is the least tested great team in the country
fair.
Every year heading into the NCAA tournament. Do you know they've been to 9 straight Sweet 16s? 9 straight Sweet 16s.
No, that's fair.
So it's one of those things. I think there's a lot of things in sports where you label them based on what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about this on the College Basketball Podcast yesterday. So Tennessee blast Arkansas over the weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
John Calipari comes to the press conference, and he says, I wish I would have, if I could go back, we didn't do shoot-around this morning, and I would have done a shoot-around this morning. The implication being we just got our brains beat in because we didn't hold shoot-around this morning. And sort of what I was talking to Michael Eaves about earlier, this is what John is really, as he's aged, fell into a habit of after every loss, he just shows up and tells you all the stuff he wishes he would have done differently. Mm-hmm. And after a while, people are like, we're tired of hearing it. Stop telling us what you would have done differently and just do that shit. Mm-hmm. Stop telling us what you wish you would have done differently so that this thing didn't go so terribly and start making it go well more consistently. He didn't have to explain bad things throughout the first, say, 10 years of his time at Kentucky because wasn't a lot of bad things happen. But in the last 5, it was just one bad thing after another. And he's always got an explanation after the fact. I wish I'd have played Devin Booker more. I wish I'd have played Reed Shepherd more. I wish I would have, went to a smaller lineup. He's always just wishing he would have done something different. And this one was, I wish I would have had shoot around this morning. Here's my point, to link it back to what you said. I don't think Arkansas got blasted on Saturday because they didn't have a shoot around. I think they just didn't have a shoot around, and what happened. But if they'd have won, he would immediately said, well, I let my guys sleep in a little bit. I didn't want to get them out here too early, mess up their body. If you would have won the game, you would have pointed to the exact same thing that you pointed to.
That's true.
You see it in football or basketball or any sport all the time when it comes to this stuff specifically. A team's been off for a week, right? Another team hadn't been off for a week. They play. And if the team that's been off for a week plays well, you know what people say? Well, they were well rested. I mean, they were rested. So this is what you get. But every well-rested team doesn't play well. So you know what happens when they don't play well? You know what we say? Well, they're rusty. They've been off too long. You just flip well-rested into rusty. Or you can flip rusty into well-rested. Whatever you want to do. If it's a win, you say you were well-rested. And if it's a loss, you say you were rusty. If you lose, you say, I wish I'd have done shoot-around. If you'd have won, you said, I'm glad we didn't do shoot-around. So this happens all the time in the NCAA tournament. A team like Memphis out of the AAC or Gonzaga out of the West Coast Conference, they lose early, and people say, well, they weren't tested. They didn't get tested enough. But then how do you explain Purdue losing early, or Virginia losing early, or Kentucky losing early?
That's a good point.
Things just happen. And you can't always there are legitimate reasons for why these things happen sometimes, but you can't always assign them in the ways that I think. So I'm not even really concerned. How about this? John Calipari's best team at Memphis, 2008, they weren't tested.
That's very true.
I mean, they were barely tested the whole year.
It's true.
And barely tested in the NCAA tournament until the title game.
Yep.
I mean, I think they had the close game with Mississippi State, and everything else was
they blasted Michigan State and Texas.
Blasted
right?
UCLA.
Yeah, blasted UCLA. Yeah.
So they weren't tested, and it was fine. I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about. I'm really not worried about anything. I think they're good.
I think they're good too, man.
I'm not, if they were getting ready to go play in the SEC, I'd be worried a little bit. All right, you're good, but you're going to be able to handle Auburn, Tennessee, Kentucky, Florida. Where you fit in that? But where do you fit in this? These schools don't even belong with you. You just played the second best one yesterday. Didn't play well and still won the game. KenPom now has them projected to go 16-2 in the league, be 26-5 heading into the AAC tournament. You win that tournament, you'd be 29-5 on Selection Sunday.
Yeah.
KenPom now basically says they'll be 29-5 on Selection Sunday. That's the type of season we're headed in that direction.
Now, I think it's super important for them to, again, wreck the league and get that high seed as well. That's going to be really important for them.
Well, yeah. I mean, the best way to advance in the tournament is to have a seed that sets you up to advance in the tournament.
Yeah.
Right? So all of it's important. Wasn't the most beautiful win yesterday, but it was a win. And by the way, because the numbers have updated, Ole Miss got a win on Saturday. Ole Miss moved up in the net far enough to turn Memphis' win over Ole Miss. It was quadrant 2 when it happened. It flipped into quadrant 1.
Love it.
So now Memphis has 4 quadrant 1 wins, 10 wins inside the first 2 quadrants. That's 3 more than anybody else in the country. And next up is a home game. They're off the rest of the week. They won't return to the court till Saturday, East Carolina, inside FedEx Forum, where KenPom currently has them projected as an 18-point favorite.
Number 2.
Derrick Rose was honored in Chicago this weekend.
That was cool.
Former Memphis Tiger. Honored at the United Center. It was cool. I loved it. I couldn't stop watching videos.
I couldn't either. Yeah. Well, the video of when they told him that they were retiring his jersey, that was really cool.
Love that.
Yeah, that was great.
He teared up. I was
it hit him. Yep.
I was right there with him.
Yep. Because
you know how much that means to him. He doesn't try to hide it.
No.
He doesn't try to be cool about it. I don't care. So many players are I don't care about nothing.
Yeah. Well,
many people. I can't stand people who act like they don't care about nothing. I have that is not impressive to me. People walking around acting like they don't care about anything. That never impresses me. I like people who care.
Yeah.
I care about stuff. I like people who care about things. And, man, you can see it all over him, man. It means something to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love, I guess I don't have much new stuff to say about Derrick Rose, but I just love that he seems to be in such a healthy place just in his life. And there's no guarantee you'll be that way, given everything that he's gone through. His career was ripped away from him.
It's so true. Yep.
He was on track to have one of the greatest basketball careers of all time. And in his early 20s, it was taken away.
Yep.
So, yeah, he still made a lot of money, and he still had some moments, but he was never himself again. Think about working your whole life to be something, becoming it, and then it's taken away from you in your early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
It would not be hard to walk around angry and resentful and why me for the rest of your life. I promise you there's a lot of athletes who do that. I know some of them. They walk around every day mad at the world because something bad, unfair happened to them. And I get it. I would, but Derrick doesn't carry himself like that. He just doesn't. He's had those moments. He's admitted it. We've talked to him about it. But he's come to terms with all of that. It feels like. And that video of them telling him, because the whole premise of the weekend was just like, come to United Center, let's honor you. It's just like Derrick Rose weekend in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
But then while he was there, they said, and you saw the video, I tweeted it. I'd encourage anybody to watch. It's just sweet. It's just a sweet moment. But they bring him in. They got the camera running. I suspect he knew something was going on just because, a little bit like when they call the walk-on up in the locker room and they spot a camera. Like, we know where this is headed. I suspect he had an indication where it was going. But still, when they said the words, next year when we put your number in the rafters, and immediately he had to turn away.
Mm-hmm.
He had to turn away just because he couldn't hold it in. I loved it. And the other video that I loved is he's just sort of walking through the tunnels of United Center the same way we walk through tunnels at FedEx Forum, where the players walk from the locker room to get out on the court. And he happens to be walking in one direction while I think they're playing the Knicks. The Knicks were going back to the locker room like after warming up or something. I don't know. But it's a string of Knicks. Most of them, I'm assuming, have never really even been around Derrick Rose. And to a man, they stopped and said something to him. And that's one of the things I've noticed about him. He's immensely respected by his peers.
Yes.
People love him. People love Derrick Rose. I don't know exactly how to pinpoint it, but he matters to people in a way that all great basketball players just don't matter to people, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to quantify this, but I hear there's that Jeff Teague video when he and Derrick were teammates in Minnesota, and he's like, D Rose goes for 50 that night. You probably remember it.
Mm-hmm.
He goes big, and D Rose is crying in the postgame interview. They're chanting MVP. It's an awesome moment. And Jeff Teague's telling the story, and he's like, suddenly I'm crying. He's like, why am I crying? I don't even know this guy. Like, why am I crying about Derrick Rose scoring 50? But like, people there's something about him that people love and respect, and that was on full display this weekend. And I saw some people arguing on Twitter, because I guess that's what people do, about whether he deserves it or not. To me, it's not even a question. It is not even a question. I don't care that he only did this and only made this many All-Star games. It's because his knees got wrecked when he was very young. The impact that guy made in his hometown, on that franchise, and just on basketball in general, he deserves. There ain't an honor you could give him that I would argue with. He matters. He matters. His great years didn't last long because of injuries, but he will matter for a long time to basketball players and to the sport, broadly speaking. So you can put his stats up against Horace Grant's and have a debate about it if you want to. I don't care. Derrick Rose's number should be hanging in the United Center, and I can't wait to see it next year.
Number 3.
We got a new Dear Jane to discuss.
What's up, Jane?
Oh, man, this is Bennett, I come to the Dear Janes with a bit of an advantage because I pick them.
Right.
I've already read this.
Yeah, I got to do this on the fly.
I know exactly what I think about this. You got to always do it on the fly. I feel like I'm coming with a little bit of an advantage, but I'm going to tell you in advance.
Okay.
It's not obvious to me what I would do here. I usually know what I would do. It doesn't mean I'm right. I usually get to a place. You let me think about anything long enough, I'll get to a place where, I know what I'm going to do.
Okay.
And I'm not always right, but I get to a place where I'm comfortable with the decision. I don't know what I would do exactly here, but I have some thought. Let me just read it to you, all right?
All right.
This is a good one. Dear Jane, I went home to my parents. It comes from a young man.
Okay.
All right? I went home to my parents' house for Thanksgiving and brought my new girlfriend with me. I was really excited for her to meet them and my younger brother. As we got on the train to go, my brother texted our family group chat saying that he was on his way to the house and he was bringing a girl with him that he had just started dating. It was classic for my brother to spring something like this on my parents at the last minute, and he always seemed to be dating someone new. He's 23 and I'm 30. So there's quite a big age gap between us, but we live near each other and have always been really close. So we arrive, we jump out of the taxi, hug my parents, and I introduce my girlfriend. And while we're all saying hello, like out in the front yard, my brother and his new girlfriend show up. After I hug my brother, I turn to his girlfriend to introduce myself. But when I looked at her, I had this really weird feeling that I had met her before. I clearly stared a bit too long because my brother pushed me jokingly, so I just said hi. But I couldn't shake the feeling I knew her. Even her name, Emma, was familiar. It was only when we sat down to dinner that night, and I was across from her, that I realized where I recognized her from. We had matched on a dating app. And it gets worse.
Oh.
Before I got together with my now girlfriend 6 months ago, I was single and hitting the dating apps pretty hard. I had probably lowered my age range slightly more than I should have.
Mm-hmm.
Now it happens. I matched with Emma, who is 20 years old.
Okay.
And we started talking. Things got more flirty. And then Emma ended up sending me some pretty racy pictures.
Okay.
I never reciprocated, and we never met in person because things got more serious with my girlfriend. So we just sort of let this little thing go. When I realized the connection, I went bright red at the table, and everyone looked at me, and I had to pretend to be coughing. Emma seems to have no idea who I am.
Interesting.
She doesn't even really pick up on it.
Okay.
But I feel absolutely terrible nonetheless. I don't want to tell my brother or my girlfriend. It would be way too awkward, but I feel so weird keeping it from them too. Not to mention she's so much younger than me. Should I try to keep this to myself and feel awkward around her forever, or say it now and try to laugh it off? What do you think?
I mean, if she doesn't know, if she's not acting weird and doesn't know, then doesn't remember, then I think you just hold that one in, brother. I don't think you lay it all out there.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
You ever have something you think about and you just have to keep thinking about it and it just drives you crazy?
Yeah, you got to get it off your chest.
I just don't want to think about this anymore.
I understand.
Like, I have a million examples of this, and I am let's handle this now because I'm tired of thinking about it. And I'm not even saying this is the best way to go about life. There's a lot of indications that suggest it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But if I have an issue, I would prefer to handle it now because I don't want to think about it, right? So imagine you're this guy. This is in his head. He will never, if he does what you say, which is keep it to himself, he will never stop thinking about, does she recognize me? Does she remember? Is this weird? Was I wrong? Does she know? Maybe she knows and she's acting like she doesn't know because she doesn't think I know. Like, you just want all that shit in your head all the time?
Mm-hmm.
I think I would pull her aside. I think I would pull Emma aside and I would say, hey, listen, no big deal, and I don't want this to be weird, but I cannot stop thinking that we know each other. Do we know each other? Were we on a dating app together? And then let that spark her memory and then laugh about it together.
Okay, I think that's okay.
But then do you pull the brother in?
No.
Okay, this is where I get confused. This is where I'm in a battle with myself. On one hand, if you pull the brother in, all these little insecurities that probably shouldn't exist, but they're going to. So you were sending racy pictures to my older brother? Like, and now, like, when we're at Thanksgiving, like, are you looking at him? Like, none of this shit should be real, but it just will. It'll get in your head.
Yeah.
Or at least it'll get in some people's heads. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So you tell him, you just put stuff in his head that might not need to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But if you don't tell him and he finds out someday, that could damage your relationship.
Yeah.
And the way he could find out someday, let me tell you how. Like most relationships between young people, it doesn't go well.
Right.
It blows up at some point. And at some point, she's like, I should have just hooked up with your brother like I tried to before I even met you. It's just one of those.
But best we can tell, she doesn't remember this or doesn't.
But you don't know that for sure. You don't know.
He just said she wasn't acting weird, so it appeared that she didn't have any recollection. I might wait until like he brings her around a couple more times, like just see how serious this relationship is becoming.
I think if you could promise me this, Emma will never connect these dots, and your brother will never know. Let's leave it there. I'm happy to leave it there, and this will just be in my little head forever. It was just 3 pictures that she sent one time, and I don't even have them anymore. All right? Fine. But I don't know that. I don't know that that's the way it's going to be. There's a scenario where she does know it's me, and she's going to use this at a time I don't want her to.
Yeah.
I think I'm talking to Emma first. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to Emma before I even go to my brother.
Okay.
I'm going to Emma, and I'm laughing about this. I'm saying, hey, this was like, oh, wasn't that crazy? And then just try to, and now you're with my brother, and I'm with my girlfriend, and that was a night, which I think people do in their own lives all the time, don't they?
Yes.
Right. You just go, okay, yeah, you used to date him, and I used to date her, and now we see them at the baseball fields, and who cares? Who cares? We all, we didn't meet each other till we were adults. Did we really think we didn't date each other before we met each other? So who cares?
Right.
You should be able to. It shouldn't be a big deal, but it might be. I'm talking to Emma first.
Yeah, I'm not opening the can of worms. I think you need to be pretty. I think you need to be pretty stealth about this whole thing before you're opening the can of worms.
Xavier's in the chat, and he's bringing up a point. I don't know if this is true or not. I don't have any. Here's what Xavier says. Xavier says she remembers. Women always remember who they send nudes to. Do women always remember who they send nudes to? Do you think that's true, Bennett? I don't know.
I would think so.
You think always?
I think for the most part.
You always remember. Every nude you've ever sent, you know who you sent it to. And because
I would think most women would say yes.
What Xavier's suggesting is this woman, Emma, knows that she sent pictures to this brother because every woman would know.
Yeah.
But what if she does? You ready for this? I think Xavier might be right. But what if she just doesn't recognize him? Because he doesn't look
like the guy in the picture on the dating app.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. How many people on dating app? Like I know a woman. I'll just keep it that who was always complaining about not getting second dates on dating apps. And I was like, I didn't say this out loud.
She was catfishing.
I wanted to say, you don't look like yourself.
She was catfishing.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you walk into the bar, you don't look like that picture. I'm sorry. But that's why you're not getting second dates. Because people are expecting to see the purpose in the picture, and you don't look like that. I didn't say that, but that's what I wanted to say.
I got it.
All right?
Yep.
Well, what if it's the same thing? Like, hey, he just doesn't look.
He doesn't look like
she
that
doesn't
guy.
recognize him.
Yeah.
If you showed her the picture that she'd be, oh, yeah, I sent that guy on that dating app some nudes, sure. But this guy standing right here at Thanksgiving, I don't even know this guy because I have not connected that they're the same people. So I think Xavier might be right. She would remember she sent nudes to a dude on a dating app that looks like the dude on the dating app, but she has not figured out that it's this guy.
I think maybe pull her aside.
I'm pulling her aside.
But I'm being real stealth about this whole thing.
You trying to get some more pictures?
No. I just don't want to open the can of worms. I'd rather just nip this one and,
Other option. You ready for this? Other option? You can act like you don't know nothing either. And if it ever comes up, you'll be like,
I don't remember that.
Who sent me nudes? What? Bro, I was on a dating app and I was single. 40 girls sent me nudes. I don't know what's going on. Who is this again? What? Just play dumb. Be like, I don't know.
Maybe that's the best.
That might be the best thing.
Yeah.
Never mention it. Let it go.
Yeah.
Hope it never comes up. And if it does, you just say, what? Emma, your girlfriend? Sent when? What? I do one of those.
Yeah.
If you're really trying to deny something, you got to do one of these. You got to go, what? When? You got to do it like that. I think that's the trick to making people believe you.
Yeah.
You got to go, huh? What? Emma? Emma who? Huh? I think I just do that.
I think so too. I'm not opening the can of worms.
All right, let's practice.
Okay.
You be my brother, and you, for the first time ever, ask me if I ever got nudes from your girlfriend. That's what you've heard. You just heard that your girlfriend sent me nudes before y'all started dating, and I have never told you this. Now you want to talk to me about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, talk.
Hey, dude, I just heard that Emma sent you nudes on a dating app once upon a time.
Emma?
Mm-hmm.
Emma, your girlfriend?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's what she told me.
What?
Yeah.
When?
She told me that she sent you nudes on a dating app.
What? When? Emma, your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, that's what she said.
What? I don't even have it. I don't even have a dating app.
Yeah.
So, like, back when I was on dating apps?
Yeah.
Before I had a girlfriend?
That's what she said, yeah.
Bro, I'm be honest with you. I was going hard on the dating apps.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna sit there and tell you I didn't ever get nudes from girls, but like I don't remember nothing about no Emma. What?
Huh.
Let's look. You want to look? I got nothing to hide.
Yeah. Let's look.
Maybe do that.
Let's look.
Would that work? Hold on.
By the way,
I don't need you actually looking.
By the way,
Hold on, let me get my phone back over here by me.
I was never a dating app person. Can you send nudes on a dating app?
I don't know. I've never been on a dating app.
Seems illegal.
But I've never been on a dating app.
That seems like there's some kind of rules against that in these dating apps. You can't just send nudes.
I think you can send nudes whenever you want.
Really?
I think so.
On a dating app?
I mean, I don't know, but I think you could. I mean, it could have been just they met on a dating app, then she texted him nudes or sent him an Instagram or however you do that stuff. I don't know. Nobody ever sends me nudes, except this one girl did one time. But she was trying to just catfish me. It was like a Saturday afternoon or something. And I just got a, hey, what's up? You ever respond to these? I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, this number's not in my phone. Who is this? And she was like, it's so-and-so. Next thing you know, nude picture. I'm like, what in the world? She said, you looking to have some fun today? I said, baby doll, I'm just watching Tiger Woods play golf. I'm busy. But thanks for asking. That's the only nude I ever got.
I was going to say, I have not gotten too many unsolicited nudes in my lifetime.
But I think if you're young and on dating apps, it's the type of thing that might happen.
Maybe that's it. I
don't know.
All right.
I don't know. What do you think? I think that's it. I think we're gonna let it sit.
Yeah,
and if it ever brought
yeah.
to me, I'm gonna play dumb. I'm gonna act like, bro, I was in my 20s, single, hitting the dating apps hard. I had a whole book of nudes, but I don't have any of them anymore. If you're telling me that Emma was one of them, okay. But I have no recollection of that. And then I start doing this. Well, what did she did I ever meet her? And he's going to go, oh, no, you never met her. Okay, then I don't remember. Do you know how many people I match with on a dating site? 50,000. I think that's what I'm doing. I'm not saying a word, then I'm playing dumb. Which is what I do a lot of times anyway. You know, it's kind of how I live my life. All right, I think we settled that.
Number 4.
Drake released a new song this weekend, taking shots at our king, LeBron James. Drake's mad at our king.
I had no clue.
Drake's feelings are hurt.
About what?
About, a lot of things. He's had a rough go.
Yeah, he's had a rough year.
I mean,
he's calendar year. Yeah,
he was bullied the entire, from like February, March 2024 till present day. He's been getting nonstop bullied. All right, so he's had a rough go of it. Specifically here, there's lines about his brothers showing up at the pop-out concert. People specifically thinking it means LeBron James and DeMar DeRozan, but more specifically LeBron James, because DeMar DeRozan has explained this. Like, he was cool with Drake, but like, DeMar DeRozan's from Compton. He's related to Kendrick.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? The LeBron thing's different. LeBron and Drake have been calling each other brothers for 15 years.
Yeah.
Drake at one point donated $1 million to like the LeBron James Foundation.
Yeah.
All right? These guys are actual, like, they call themselves brother. Like, that's my brother. For 15 years, they've been talking about that. So suddenly you end up in this rap battle, and you're getting your head beat in, and it all culminates with this incredible celebration in Los Angeles with the biggest song of 2024 and one of the biggest rap songs ever about you being a pedophile is being blasted to the world, and there's your brother, LeBron James, dancing in the crowd. You ready for this? This might surprise you. Drake's a bitch, all right? I totally get this. That's not okay. If LeBron James were my brother and I saw him at the Pop-Out show, we're done.
So what do you say about him in the song?
Just, there's like a little subtle thing in there. It's basically just my feelings are hurt. I thought we were real tight, and then I saw you dancing to a song about me being a pedophile.
That would hurt my feelings too.
Like, it would hurt my feelings too. I was just thinking through it. Like, imagine I was in a podcast war. Okay, just play along. All right? And me and somebody else are going back and forth. And it gets a little ugly. And then this other podcaster makes a whole podcast about me being a pedophile. All right? And then Vernon retweets it. And it's like, this is the best podcast I've heard this week. We would be done.
That would hurt.
Like, it would not only hurt, we would be over with.
Yeah.
Like, we can't be friends anymore, much less brothers. I'm not asking you to stand up for me, but you shouldn't be involved in this in the way that you are. I don't think that's unreasonable for Drake to think that, or for Drake to be upset about that. Like, LeBron James is dancing to Not Like Us, and he said he's your brother. Like, I get it, it's catchy, but if you're LeBron James, you just can't put yourself. If I were LeBron James, I would not have put myself in that position. I would not do one. If Drake is really my brother, and Drake's a bitch. I've established that, right? But if that were my brother, I would I just stay out of it. The way, like a lot of guys actually kind of did in this thing, just stay out of the way. You don't need to get involved in this. But LeBron was actively participating, and he took the side of Kendrick. Again, that's tough. I'd be mad if I were Drake, too. I understand Drake having his feelings hurt.
I guess I do, too.
I guess I do, too. Yeah. He's still a bitch, though.
Number 5.
Golden Globes were held last night in Beverly Hills. What'd you think? Nikki Glaser was great. Would you agree?
Oh, she was awesome. She is really funny, man. I thought she did a really good job hosting that thing. Like, I think it's hard to be able to, these days, do a show like that and universally appeal to everybody. I don't think most people could watch that last night and not say she was hilarious.
She's hilarious.
Yeah.
She is hilarious, and she was great last night. She's always hilarious. My microphone needs a Cialis, it appears. She's always hilarious, but it doesn't always hit. Like, she did the thing on Amazon after Thursday Night Football a couple times, and it didn't always hit. Like, just,
I got you.
It felt off a little bit. But the Tom Brady roast killed.
That was great.
That's what got her this. And then she killed last night. And I thought it was a fun, 3.5 hours of television?
I did too, man. I love the Golden Globes.
Love the Golden Globes.
Yep.
What do you think of the winners? Did the right people win?
Oh,
remind me.
I don't know.
You've seen The Brutalist and you loved it.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I thought you said you saw it.
It hasn't played here yet. It hasn't played here yet.
Yeah.
It's hard to figure out how to watch it. Hopefully,
you got Carve Out a Day.
Hopefully Malco gets it soon. They don't have it at any of their theaters right now.
Well,
that one's still in theaters.
Well, that'll get a read whatever. Like, it'll go back to a lot of places now because, once you win big awards, people start asking questions, want to see it. So
that's right.
I can't say that I was disappointed in the results because I haven't seen all the nominees.
I've seen some of them.
Yep. Going into it, I wanted Timothée Chalamet to win, and I wanted Mikey Madison to win.
Yep.
But I cannot say that the people who won didn't deserve to win. Although I did see Demi Moore's performance, and I did see Mikey Madison's performance, and I did think Mikey was better than Demi Moore, but I'm not a film critic or a voter for the Golden Globes, so I guess it doesn't matter that much.
Yep.
But I thought Mikey Madison was incredible in Anora.
She was great.
Incredible. But Demi Moore, how about this? I didn't want her to win. Like, if you just said 5 seconds before this happens, who you want to win? I would have said Mikey Madison. I love that Demi Moore won, and I love that she got to deliver that speech, and I thought
that was cool.
Like,
I was happy for her.
Like, one of the best acceptance speeches. It always amazes me because oftentimes you get these actors up there, and they're actors. They could learn lines. They learn lines for a living, and they get up there and they can't deliver a speech. Why can't you just learn lines the way it's just prepare? Treat this like you're preparing for a role, and the role is accepting a Best Actor award.
Right.
And they just don't do it. But it looked like she did it. It looked like she really, I bet she had told that story 100 times in the past 2 weeks. She had it down. She was great.
Yeah, man, that was cool. She said that like she'd been kind of pinned as like a popcorn actress throughout her career, and she never thought that she was gonna just have an opportunity like that to win an award.
Isn't it amazing? Yeah. Somebody as successful and beautiful and accomplished as Demi Moore still has lived her entire adult life with incredible insecurities because people told her, yeah, you can sell tickets.
But you don't do these kind of movies.
Yeah, but you're not a real actor.
Right.
You're a really pretty person. Take your shirt off. But you're not Meryl Streep. And she's not Meryl Streep. I think she'd even tell you she's not Meryl Streep. But to finally, at the age of 62, be given, that honor, to be told, hey, you actually won this, not necessarily because of the way you look. You got parts because of the way you look. You got parts because of the way you can sell tickets. You got this because of the performance you delivered as an actor. That really meant something to her.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I was happy for her.
I was too. The only thing that kind of Amelia Perez won Best Picture Musical Comedy, and I gotta be honest, I did not think that was a great movie. I just was not a huge fan. I think that's like it just is one of those movies that I feel like would do better as like a Broadway show as opposed to a movie. It's a musical.
It was written. I saw this yesterday. It was written originally as a
Broadway show.
I think as an opera, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
It seems like that it would work better. I don't know. I found myself bored a lot of the time.
Right.
I didn't think it was that great of a movie. It's on Netflix. Anyone can watch it. But it appears it won a bunch of awards last night. It's gonna be an Oscar contender for sure. And then the other one was like the big upset with Best Actress, where God, what's her name? Where Fernando Torres for I'm Still Here won over like all these huge names like Angelina Jolie, Nicole Kidman, Tilda Swinton, Kate Winslet. Like that was a pretty big moment too. But it was a good show.
I thought it was a good show. Good. Trent Reznor wins again.
I know. I thought he was going to get up there and pop off, but he didn't. He didn't really talk.
It is just
He likes Atticus talk.
If you go back to the mid '90s, the idea that Trent Reznor would be standing on the
winning
stage
all these awards
in a suit, like as a
I know, man.
Like Google Trent Reznor Woodstock in the mud,
right?
And then imagine that guy getting all cleaned up and turning into this.
Yeah. He's great, man. They're great. I mean, they're kind of like the dudes now when it comes to scores. Like that's It's
a fun night of television.
Yeah, it was. It was
America's
good.
most watched network of stars. Congrats to Nikki Glaser. She got the job. She deserved it. And I don't have no say in it, but if I were in charge, I'd offer the job again.
Yep.
Be back with GP's Carryout.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzlies stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
ESPN put out a list. Top 30 best pro wrestlers under 30 in the world today. Number 1, Dirty Dom. Number 2, MJF.
I think Dom is deserving to be number 1. I think he is probably, like I said, one of the greatest heels in the last 10, 15 years. Like you said, he can't talk on the microphone.
The fans love it because they feel like they're a part of the show.
And that's the best.
Without their booze, he's not the best heel.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
I want to throw a party just so I can be in control of the aux cord, just so I can force everybody to listen to the Wicked soundtrack. Both of these actresses in Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, I thought it showed how they have experience performing live and on screen, both of them.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Somebody who really has done what they were supposed to do, or maybe wasn't expected to do, is Jalen Wells, the Western Conference Rookie of the Month.
What you're seeing right now is him showing that, hey, no matter where I was going to go in the draft, I was going to be ready.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizz Nation, it's time to send Ja, Jaren, and Dez to the 2025 All-Star Game.
Oh! What did we just see, partner? Take three! Take three! Bane for three. Bingo!
Desmond Bane heating it up.
Blocked by Jaren!
Most versatile power forward in the game today.
Head to NBA.com/vote, the NBA app, or simply use the QR code on the screen to send your Grizzlies to the All-Star Game today.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
ESPN put out a list. Top 30 best pro wrestlers under 30 in the world today. Number 1, Dirty Dom. Number 2, MJF.
I think Dom is deserving to be number 1. I think he is probably, like I said, one of the greatest heels in the last 10, 15 years. Like you said, he can't talk on the microphone.
The fans love it because they feel like they're a part of the show.
And that's the best.
Without their booze, he's not the best heel.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Built Ford Tough Studio. Let's wrap this Monday up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but we mostly, in the opening segment, focused on your Memphis Grizzlies. Back home tonight, Dallas Mavericks are in town. Shorthanded Dallas Mavericks are in town. It's nice to have shorthanded opponents, you know? Given everything we have to go through as a franchise, It's nice to have shorthanded opponents every once in a while. No Luka Doncic tonight, no Kyrie Irving tonight. Obviously, the Grizzlies will be shorthanded as well. No Ja Morant. Desmond Bane listed as doubtful. So, could be a battle of backups inside FedEx Forum. Tickets available. Grizzlies.com. Grizzlies, of course, have a 2-game losing streak that needs to get ended tonight. Lost in Sacramento, lost in San Francisco. Big Bet Bennett, you're not concerned. This is a victory tonight, isn't it?
I would hope so.
I would
hope so. You got to play a little desperate tonight. You got to play a little desperate tonight with these guys in town.
Back home in the friendly confines against the reigning Western Conference champions, but they're down their 2 stars.
Yeah. Go get it.
This is where you got to handle business.
I think so.
I think
so,
business
GP.
gets handled. Yep. Business gets handled tonight. Downtown Memphis, FedEx Forum. Grizz Mavericks, 7 o'clock. Tickets, Grizzlies.com.
What's today's biggest game?
Oh, Bennett, you don't know nothing about the FCS championship?
I was wondering where you might go here.
FCS championship.
Okay, hang on. Don't even tell me. I believe that it is a battle of North Dakota State and Montana State.
Look at you. How do you know so much about FCS championships?
I scour the scores.
Do you know where we're doing it?
Where?
This is going to sound familiar.
Fargo.
Toyota Stadium, Frisco, Texas.
Well, we already had the Frisco Bowl.
I know.
They just...
Frisco said, bring us another game.
Okay.
Frisco
Respect,
said,
yeah.
Frisco said, bring us your college football games, and we'll host them.
This isn't sponsored by Scooters Coffee, though.
No, it got nothing to do with Scooters. This is just the FCS championship game. You're right. It is North Dakota State against Montana State. North Dakota State is 13-2.
Yep.
Nice season. But I don't really think they played nobody.
That's what I hear. That's what the rumblings are saying, yeah.
Montana State, 15-0.
Uh-huh.
But I think people have been questioning their strength of schedule.
Yep.
It's not like they went 15-0 in the SEC.
Yeah.
That's not an SEC team.
I mean, what it tells me is that North Dakota State's been battle tested. I mean, they've been through it. Montana State hasn't had a real test yet.
They haven't been tested.
Yeah, I think that schedule comes into play. What are we looking at here?
Montana State is a 3.5-point favorite tonight. The total is 58.5. Tickets as low as $103. They try to pack this place.
You know, I don't want to say it wrong because I don't want to make him upset because I know that this is a bitter rivalry. Luke went to one of these schools. Our great social media director, Luke, went to, but he either went to North Dakota or North Dakota State, and there's a big difference between they hate each other.
That's right.
And I can't remember which one he said he went to.
This is like saying Luke either went to Ole Miss or Mississippi State.
Exactly.
I can't remember.
Exactly. Yeah, these are two completely different
things. He either
things.
went to Auburn or Alabama, but I'm not sure which one.
I want to say he went to North Dakota State, but I'm not sure. I'm going with North. They've been battle tested. I'm going with North Dakota State to cover.
It's the Bison. The North Dakota State Bison and the Montana State. Do you know what the Montana State is?
So Montana's the Grizzly Bears. I know that. The University of Montana is
but what
the
is
Grizzly
Montana
Bears.
State?
Montana State, I'm going to say that they're the Bobcats. Are they the Bobcats? Are they the freaking Bobcats? They are not the Bobcats.
We got to get you on Jeopardy or something today.
Dude,
you know everything today.
I swear I didn't know.
I swear I didn't think you knew.
You just got to think like what mountainous type
you
animal.
know,
right.
You try to think of the terrain of Montana.
Exactly.
What would Montana State perhaps call itself?
They got Bobcats there.
I would assume so. I ain't never seen one with my own eyes, but I would assume so.
God, that's starting to make me rethink my decision.
You ever been to Montana?
I've always wanted to go. I've always wanted to go to Montana.
So that's a no.
No, I have not.
Have you always? Why would you always want to go to Montana?
It's supposed to be beautiful. That's like where people go retire to. And
who retires to Montana?
Phil Jackson. Didn't he live there now?
Yeah, I think that's true.
I think Phil Jackson lives there.
Yeah.
I think people go retire to Montana and just live off the land. Yeah.
Maybe.
Surrounded by Bobcats.
Yeah, surrounded by Bobcats.
Yeah.
Maybe. Just you and Phil Jackson in Montana.
I heard it's a great place.
I've never been to Montana.
I'd love to go. Butte, Montana.
I've never even thought about going to Montana.
It's supposed to be beautiful.
The most Montana place I've ever been probably is South Dakota.
That's close.
Yeah,
right? That's
I
close.
think so. It feels similar.
Region.
It feels like they have Bobcats there. Weirdest thing. I flew into Sioux Falls, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to South Dakota State, going to see the Jackrabbits.
Yeah.
And you get off the plane. It's like middle of basketball season, so that means it's middle of hunting season. I'm not exaggerating. I think I was the only person at baggage claim not picking up a weapon.
Really?
I think I was the only. I think I flew Memphis to Atlanta, then Atlanta to Sioux Falls, and I think I was the only one who landed in Sioux Falls that didn't go to baggage claim to retrieve my weapon.
It's a big hunting area.
Oh, it was the whole flight. The whole flight was hunters. Like everybody on the flight looked exactly like you.
You know, I didn't realize you could even do that.
Hunt?
No, like transport your guns like that.
Oh, okay. Like I have the podcasting background that I have to travel with.
Yeah.
Right? I need to just leave it in New York.
Oh, and they always think that.
Every time.
Yeah.
They don't
because it's in that case.
But they ask every time, what's in that bag? And I alternate.
You're kind of embarrassed to say it's a podcasting
Well,
banner.
it's just like, first off, I struggle with all this stuff.
Uh-huh.
First off, this man or woman who's asking me this question, they're just doing their job, all right?
That's right.
That's what they're supposed to do.
Of course.
But
got to be careful.
I guess But like, I'm not required to tell you what's in my bag. I don't have to tell you what's in my bag just because you ask, do I? Look at you. Hey, you want to look at it? Look at it. I don't care. But why I got to answer all these questions? But is that just me being difficult for the sake of being difficult?
I think that's difficult for the sake of being difficult.
Well, I want to be clear.
I think it's difficult for the sake of being difficult.
I want to be clear. I've never been difficult. Never.
But you thought about it.
I think about being difficult all the time. I think about going, when they say, so what's in the bag? My stuff. Well, so like, what is it exactly? It's just my stuff.
Because look, dude, I mean, we can call it like it is. I mean, I went flying recently. The TSA agents are kind of mean.
I don't speak about them like that, but I do have an issue with.
Did I speak out of turn there?
Some of them are
kind of mean.
Some of them aren't happy to be doing their job, and others are the best.
Take your belt and your shoes. Okay.
Others are the best.
Okay, I'll take my belt off. Well, gosh.
You got to do pre-check. We ain't taking our belts off. We ain't taking our shoes off. I ain't taking nothing off.
It just freaks you out when they yell that at you. You're like, oh my God, okay.
But like. I mean, I'm there so often. I know these people are like my family. All right? So I take a little offense when you...
So sorry.
I mean, I know these people.
Yeah, I got you.
Kelly always laughs when she's at the airport with me. Because
y'all are like hugging, like dapping up before you go through.
Everybody, like I know all these people. Like I know them as well as I know anybody. I know the people at the airport as well as I know the people here.
Yeah.
Like sincerely. I know these.
I believe that.
So I don't like you talking about them like that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I take that back.
All right?
I take that back. They're great at Memphis International.
But let me tell you what they do that I think is wildly it's just rude.
Mm-hmm.
If you want me to, without being rude, answer your question of what's in your bag, if you want me to not be rude, then this is what I need in return. I'm an old man now, Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
All right? I didn't want to be. I mean, I guess it's better than the alternative.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm an old man. I'm coming to terms with it.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
It's going to happen to you someday.
Yeah.
You're going to have to take pills. You know? Your doctor's going to say, hey, buddy.
Take these every day.
You either got to stop eating steak or you're going to have to take this pill. Yeah. Right?
I got it.
All right. So I got trouble with pills, you know? And they spill them in my bag.
They're rummaging through your pills.
One out of every 2 times I fly, when I open up my suitcase, I have just pills spilled everywhere. Now, I know there's a solution to this. Hey, idiot, just put your pills in your carry-on.
Yeah.
All right? But then I'm walking around and it's just rattling. Rattle, 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 rattle.
It's
I sound like I'm...
it's embarrassing.
Yeah, I don't need you knowing about my cholesterol pills while I'm walking through the airport,
right? People know that's what that rattling is.
Of course, right? And it's like, oh, look at that.
That old dude with his pills.
Look at that old dude.
What's wrong with him?
Cholesterol's probably through the roof. You know? I don't need all that. And the other solution would be... All right, you're going to be gone 3 days. Take out 3 pills, put them in a small little pill thing you can buy on Amazon for 40 cents.
Mm-hmm.
You're fine. And all of that is true. But sometimes in a hurry, I just grab a bottle of pills and go.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear to God, I'll get to New York and I'll open up my suitcase and there'll be pills all in my bag.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing it on purpose. Because it's not hard to close a pill bottle. You have to open it and then not close it.
Yes.
I think they're doing it on purpose.
I'm trying to walk myself through that situation about why would you open the pills and then just like...
I'm telling you, it is...
Yeah, you cross someone.
It is incomprehensible that TSA agents could be making the same mistake over and over again, and that mistake is they open pill bottles and just leave them open.
I thought you said these folks were your friends.
I thought they were my friends.
Yeah, family, I believe you said.
I don't know who's doing it.
Yeah.
But it's somebody. I got enemies at Memphis International.
You might.
Because now that I'm thinking through it, it's always when I fly out of Memphis International. It's not when I come back home.
Someone don't feel the same way about you as you do about them.
I got enemies.
Yeah.
I didn't know I had enemies like this.
I
got enemies at Memphis International.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you can find loose cholesterol pills in my suitcase right now, just left over.
Just hanging out.
They're just in there. They're like in there with the socks.
Yeah.
All right. So what are we talking about? Oh, yeah. I went to Sioux Falls.
Oh, yeah. Okay. God.
I went to Sioux Falls.
Yep.
And I was the only one without a gun. Everybody else had a gun.
Yeah.
But they do ask me every time.
You just had a podcast banner.
It's just a podcast banner.
Yeah.
Every time they ask me, what's in there? And I'm nice every time, but there's a part of me that wants to go, I don't have to answer all these questions. All right? But then there's a part of me that goes, this person is just doing their job. Why would I want to make their job tougher than it needs to be?
Yeah.
And so every time they look at me and they say, what's in that bag? You know what I say? It's just podcasting equipment.
Yeah.
It's just podcasting.
I think in 2025 that's probably more normal than you would think.
I'm probably not the only one running around. Me and Kylie Kelsey.
There's plenty of people walking around with podcasting equipment
Probably
these days.
me
in
and
airports.
Kylie Kelsey. Me and Kylie Kelsey. I can't wait till we run into each other at like a Hartsfield International or something.
Yeah.
Me and Kylie Kelsey just walking through the airport with our podcast backgrounds.
Yeah.
That's going to be
Nice.
fun. Anyway, did we pick this game or
Yeah,
not?
I'm going Bison, although I feel like some kind of connection to the Bobcats of
Yeah.
Montana now because I guess they're mascot. But
You
I'm
did.
going to go Bison because I think they've been battle tested.
North Dakota State.
They have the legacy too.
We're operating under the assumption, and it's just an assumption, but we're operating under the assumption
Did
that
Carson Wentz play there?
He might have.
I think he did. He played at one of the Dakotas.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. North Dakota State plus the 3.5. That's the play tonight. 6 o'clock kick. It's on ESPN.
What are we watching on TV?
It's a big night, Bennett. It's a big night.
It's been a great run of television.
I'm fired up.
Yeah, it's just been a great run. I enjoyed this weekend thoroughly. There's a lot to watch.
I tried to watch a new documentary on Netflix last night that's got like above 90% approval. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's a new documentary on that. I fell asleep like at 20 minutes in, but the reviews are great. So, but tonight we're watching Raw on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
It's the debut of Raw on Netflix. Let me find this documentary.
Did you see what Triple H said about it? Basically, that they're not going to do 3 hours like originally planned, and they're not on a time constraint because it's on Netflix, right? So they can do whatever they want. And he said that it could either be a 40-minute show or closer to 3 hours. So that'll be kind of interesting to see what they settle in on.
Well, if you've ever been to one of the like live shows, the clock is like pretty visible for the wrestlers because they gotta hit a mark.
That's right.
Like in television, you have to hit marks. We don't always do it, but like you have to hit a mark to a second sometimes.
Yeah.
And like,
especially them when they were on network TV.
Yeah, like you can't be on Fox and like if you're supposed to be off at 8:59, you can't be on at 9:02.
Right.
Well, this eliminates all that. Now, like if a match drags on, or like if you don't have to keep looking at the clock and go, we got to end this in 3 minutes. You know, you got a lot of room to play with, and so yeah, that'll be interesting. Like I said before, I don't need 3 hours.
I don't need 3 hours.
I enjoy this as just a total escape. Just live television escape. Like I know it's stupid. There are times when I'm sitting in my house watching it and I'm like, I feel like an idiot. Like what am I doing?
Right.
Like I'm sitting here like actually watching this. Like this is how I'm spending my time. But I enjoy it. I don't care.
I love it.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's just a nice escape. But I don't need it for 3 hours. And nice 2 hours is fine with me. Anyway, that's the new documentary on Netflix I try to watch, American Nightmare.
It's about Cody Rhodes? No. No, it's not.
No, it's not about Cody Rhodes, but that's probably coming. I didn't get very far into it, but the reviews are great. Best I can tell, it's a couple, and Buddy's girlfriend gets kidnapped, and they think they think, oh, we ain't buying this. We know you the guy, and he ain't really the guy. I don't know. The reviews are great. It dropped on Netflix. Okay, whatever. But tonight we're watching Raw on Netflix, the debut.
I think it'll be big. I think it'll feel like a pay-per-view.
It's going to feel bigger than most of the pay-per-views.
Yeah, because you have to start this one off with a bang.
You see the card? I mean, it's like Roman Reigns against Solo Sikoa.
Yeah, that's big.
CM Punk, Seth Rollins.
Yeah, that's pay-per-view.
Jey Uso, Drew McIntyre.
That's huge.
Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley.
That's big. Yeah, they're doing a pay-per-view card for sure.
Logan Paul makes his return. John Cena makes his return. The Rock makes his return.
I'm stoked. This is going to be really good.
Fired up.
I hope it goes good for them. I mean, that's a big deal for them to take, that Raw brand and put it on a streaming service. It just is.
You know, it also frees them up to do. Like they can get racy with the women if they want to. They can curse if they want to.
Yeah, will they keep it a family show? I think they will test it a little bit. I don't think they'll just completely flip to a TVMA type brand. Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
They'll push it.
Yeah.
But not as far as they can.
Right.
Probably. So that's it. Big night. Big night in wrestling. Raw on Netflix. By the way, and just under the umbrella of things to watch on TV, I keep talking about Landman. Somebody summarized.
I saw them. They were there last night.
Yeah. Somebody summarized Landman in a way that made sense to me last night on Twitter. They said, I don't care about any of these storylines in Landman, but I can't stop watching it. I think it was Ethan Strauss tweeted this last night.
Okay.
And I was like, that is the best description of Landman. I don't really care what's going on. It's just easy to watch and fun to watch.
I saw Jerry Jones was in it.
Seriously, go watch this clip. I tweeted it out earlier. Or just go watch the whole scene. The whole scene I couldn't find on Twitter, but most of it is on Twitter. Jerry Jones plays himself in last night's episode of Landman.
Okay.
It's the news show. It's on Paramount Plus. New episodes on Sunday. Reviews are good. Billy Bob Thornton's great. Ali Larter's great. Like it's a good show.
Yep.
Demi Moore's in it.
Okay.
John Hamm's in it. So Jerry Jones is playing himself. It's set in Texas, so it kind of makes sense. And he's visiting John Hamm's character in the hospital. Billy Bob Thornton's character is there as well. And it's just Jerry Jones talking. Killed it. I'm talking about... That's a great acting performance. Now, in fairness, he's playing Jerry Jones, and he's just telling a story.
Yeah, I got you. Still.
So it's just like if you asked me, so GP, tell me about what you did on Saturday. I'm just telling you what I did on Saturday. Jerry Jones just telling a story about his own life. You know, that's easier to do than say play Bob Dylan, right?
Yeah.
But like he delivered it. The story is, first off, it's just a great story, an incredible message. Might even make you think differently about Jerry Jones.
Okay.
Like as a owner of a football team. The way he talks about his children. Because one of the big complaints, one of the complaints people have about Jerry Jones is like, man, why you got your son running this and this son doing it? And he explains in this clip. The reason I bought the Dallas Cowboys was so I could work with my kids. That's all I ever wanted to do. And the clip I sent out was like 2:15, something like that. He's great.
Okay.
I mean,
I got to check this one out.
Give him a Golden Globe.
Okay.
Give Jerry Jones a Golden Globe.
Why wasn't he there?
I don't know if he needs a General Manager of the Year award, but he can get a Golden Globe for his appearance on Landman, I think. Netflix tonight, Raw, 7 o'clock.
What's the best thing we've read?
I don't know if it's the best, but I did update the top 25 and 1 this morning, and I wrote about the Big Ten. It's interesting. I was doing that on college basketball podcast yesterday. I just sort of randomly asked Matt Norlander, who do you think the best team in the Big Ten? He's like, he didn't have a great answer. And the reason he didn't have a great answer is because there's not an obvious one. I have 7 Big Ten teams in my top 25 and 1, but none of them in the top 10. They're all like between 11 and 26. Ken Pom right now projects whoever is the Big Ten champion to finish with 6 league losses. The Big Ten champion right now, according to Ken Pom, should finish 14-6 in the conference. No other power conference champion is projected to finish with that many league losses. So, a lot of stuff going on here. The best explanation is there might not be any great teams in the Big Ten, but there's a lot of good ones. And so you're just going to trade wins and losses at home and on the road, and you can lose probably 30% of your conference games and still be a conference champion. You can't do that in most leagues, but it looks like you're going to be able to do it in the Big Ten this season. If you want to read more about that, you can find it cbssports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow's Tuesday. Taco Tuesday.
That's what they say.
I might have a taco tomorrow.
Okay.
I might enjoy Taco Tuesday.
Famous New York street taco.
Famous New York street taco.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to New York.
Cool.
So we'll be doing the show from there tomorrow. And for a while. So that'll be a blast. We'll look back at Grizz Mavericks. Hopefully we'll be talking about the end of a 2-game losing streak and the start of a new winning streak.
Let's go.
Let's go. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to enjoy mine. Meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.